Saying special good morning to our listeners, those of you via Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9, whatever part of the island you're listening. Those of you who are viewing via GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 11, Channel 7, should I start from 7 first, 7, 11, or Channel 20? Good morning to you. Those of you via social media platforms, whether you're looking at our YouTube channel or Facebook page, good morning to you also. And certainly thanks for being with us this morning. It's all part of the Mid Morning Buzz. Welcome to one and all, and certainly thanks for being with us this morning. And suddenly in studio with me this morning I have double guests, but I guess those of you two probably noticing one. I'm getting the other one in the shot. He should come in shortly. Let me say good morning to Ms. Allison Mason. I hope I'm saying Miss or Mrs. Allison Mason.
Allisia
Mason, man. Why am I saying Allison? My bad. Forgive me. I'm the worst at names, right? So Forgive me for that. So we have Ms. Allisia Mason with us this morning, and we also have Raheem Smith with us this morning, both representative of the PURC. And we're here to talk this morning about the PURC. And let's kick the conversation off this morning. Good morning to both of you, and welcome to the Mid Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio and GBN TV.
Well, good morning, GT, and good morning to the listeners and viewers of GBN Classic.
All right. Ram, any intro for you this morning, Raheem?
Yes, good morning to the listeners and viewers of Classic FM. We are very much happy to be here.
All right. Good for you, but you see, better guys know easier with my name that I'm words with yours.
Yes.
All right. Well, our conversation this morning, we want to talk about the PURC. Mm-hmm. Simple way of saying it, but for the viewers and listeners out there, maybe they have heard of the PURC before. Not sure what it means, what it was. Maybe you could just, for the intro, what does the PURC means?
Okay, PURC is Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, and it's a statutory body that was formed by the PURC Act number 20 of 2016. The main purpose of the PURC is to regulate the energy sector.
Okay.
From public utilities within the energy sector. For now, it is just energy, so Grenlec comes under the purview of the PURC. The minister has the order, if he can make an order, to add any other utilities under. Mm-hmm. So in future there is talk of expansion to water. In Grenada, unlike some of the islands, we have NTRC that does the telecom side. So PRC is only to do with the energy sector, public utilities within the energy sector.
All right. You mentioned regulatory commission.
Yes.
When we move that within the PRC, explain that a wee bit for us.
Okay. It is the commission is manned by 5 board of commissioners, and we have a CEO, and we have engineers. The staff of the PRC includes engineers, economists, and basic admin staff. Myself, consumer and public affairs officer, Raheem, who's the communications intern, and this body is responsible for regulating public utilities within the energy sector. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, Grenlec falls under our purview.
Okay.
So it means that what we do is that we set rates. You would hear of it being called tariff.
Right.
So we set the tariff for Grenlec. We'll have consultations coming up soon where the public will get the opportunity to get more information on what that means. Because when you look at Grenlec bill and you have tariff, you have your rates, you want to know, okay, what exactly does the PRC have to do with that, and how those rates are calculated.
Okay. We're
also responsible for educating and promoting the use of renewable energy. We know that Grenada is going green.
Yes.
And the PURC has that mandate to ensure that we have greater penetration of renewable energy in Grenada. We're also the body responsible for hearing disputes or claims against public utilities. So in this case, again, because Grenlec is the only provider for energy in Grenada, if a person has a complaint against Grenlec that is not resolved, then they can come to the PURC. We'll speak more about the complaints.
we get to that part.
Yes,
we get
but
to that part.
That's in a nutshell what the PURC
actually do.
Yes.
So you're responsible for, as you said, responsible for regulating maybe the cost of electricity for one, if we could say that.
Yes.
So whenever we hear that Grand Lake maybe increase or decrease, if we could say it in that way, you are the folks responsible for the fact that comes from to the PURC. You're the one responsible for that. So Grand Lake doesn't really make that decision on their own.
Grand Lake has responsibility for one portion of the fuel, the cost. Sorry, I should say, and PURC has responsibility for another portion of the cost. So together, whatever it is that you're charged, then yes.
And I'm assuming it all goes through with consultation between yourself, between the PURC and Grand Lake.
Yes, there's quite a bit of consultation because at the ending of the day, it is also the PURC's responsibility to ensure that Grand Lake remains a viable entity. So yes, we're thinking of Grenadians and we want to make sure that there is fair and reasonable prices charged by Grand Lake. At the same time, we need to ensure that Grand Lake also is able to make a profit.
Okay, understandably so. Let's go over to, of course, to Mr. Smith there this morning. Raheem, if I could call it. I hope you don't mind the first name basis.
That is okay.
That's good, the first name. Now, what does the PURC play in terms of renewable energy? If you could explain that for us.
Okay, yes, definitely. So the Electricity Supply Act was amended in 2017, and it gave us the PURC the mandate to create renewable energy programs and also to educate the public on energy conservation and energy efficiency. In regards to renewable energy programs, we have two programs which was piloted in 2021. We have the cell generator program, and we also have another program called the IPP, or the Independent Power Producers Program.
Yes.
So let me first start off with the cell generator program. Cell generator program, as its name says, is basically customers or consumers who would like to have solar panels on their house. They can come to us at the PURC to get an application form. They would get the installers to do the necessaries. They would go to the electrical inspectorate to come and inspect their systems.
Do wiring and make sure everything is compliant and so forth.
Yes.
And then in terms of where Grand Lake is involved, they would sign what we call a net metering agreement with Grand Lake, so that we have that agreement. Because what happens is that in a cell generator program, consumers can be interconnected, which is on grid, or off grid. Being interconnected, which it means that they can self-generate, and the excess they can sell back to Grand Lake, right? And you can be off grid in that you just self-generate for your own benefit.
For your own benefit.
The cell generator program covers both residential and non-residential, and as you probably would have seen in the news lately, Republic Bank would have installed their solar panels on their corporate building at Morris Bishop Highway. The Independent Power Producers Program, or IPP for short, this program targets investors who would like to create a solar system facility, and they sell the energy produced. They sell it to Grand Lake. Yes.
All right. So, for instance, if we could go into this, because it's always a subject matter that is of great interest to me. If I decide to be an independent, user of the the solar panel, let's go regular conversation, and I want to do it on my own. How does the PURC fits in there for me? How do I come to you? Do I come to you to explain, or I could just decide I want to put solar panels on my house and generate my own electricity?
Right. So, yes, you need to come to us, because it would be illegal to just go and do it on your own, because we are the legal framework, if you want to put it that way. So you can come to us, and if you want to get in detailed explanation, you can speak to our engineers at our office, and they can give you a very comprehensive explanation as to what are the requirements, what you need, the do's and don'ts, because the application process, to be honest, is fairly easy once you have the required information. If you don't have the required information, then your application would not be approved so that you can get the permit. So once your application is approved, you would the permit would be signed off, and the permit would be sent to the Ministry of Public Utilities, which would be signed by the Minister for Public Utilities.
I just want to understand, because from time to time you see people just throwing up those solar panels on their houses and decided, well, they want to generate their own electricity. But you're saying, in principle, you should come to the PURC.
Yes.
Very important.
It's very important, and you come to the PURC for
Yes.
that. All right.
And let me just add, another reason why you need to come to the PURC is because we need to capture all information in terms of the amount of RE energy that Grenada produces or generates. And because too of the commitment that Grenada has made to reducing our greenhouse gases, reducing our consumption of fossil fuels, it also means that they are in a position using that data to say, okay, we are producing X amount of energy from renewable sources, and we're meeting our target, or how far are we in meeting our target. It can also help in formulating policies with regards to renewable energy. So some people might think, it's none of your business. No, it is our business.
Yes.
And the fee is rather small just for the permit if you just want to be off-grid, or whether you want to get onto the system. And again, you can benefit because if you are connected to the grid and you're able to sell excess to Grenlec, that is credit that's coming back to you. So you're not doing anything, but you're able to get credit. Renewable energy is expensive to get into. We know that. So that might be a deterrent for some people. But if you're looking to build your house and you're going to get a loan, get one loan where you're able to put a solar system on your house. So that takes care of you reducing your amount of energy consumption.
And with being on the grid with Grenlec now, and you've been getting paid back for the excess that you have, it's also a way of savings.
Yes, it is. It is. So we need to consider these. We've had consultations in the past with financial institutions, and this is something that we will be having ongoing, because we believe that we need to give Grenadians incentives because of the cost of getting into solar. There should be incentives for the average Grenadian, because the average Grenadian doesn't have 15,000, 20,000 to go put solar on their house. So if the financial institutions are able to develop packages, attractive packages, then we would have more and more people coming on and being able to generate electricity on their own from solar, apart from having those little garden lights.
I understand. But how feasible it is for Grenada going green, would you say?
How feasible it is? I think it is feasible, and it is important because, one, as Mrs. Mason said, we are trying to, or the goal is to reduce our fossil fuel emissions. There is this document called the NDCs, which is the Nationally Determined Contributions, and there is a goal to have a 40% reduction, right? I think it's feasible in that the finance is out there to finance it, but I think, as Mrs. Mason said, the deterrence would be the expense. I think it takes how should I say? It's not a one approach. It takes everyone to come on board for us to achieve this. So it's not, okay, well, government pushing this, and then it's really everyone. It's the community, it's the private sector, it's the government, it's the civil society, so everyone. I think we can reach this goal, but of course, there just has to be concrete plans for us to achieve this, which there are plans. So as I said, there is the NDCs, which is the Nationally Determined Contributions, which speaks to the government of Grenada wanting to achieve this by the year 2030. It's quite ambitious. And then, of course, there is a Paris Agreement, which speaks to, well, in which the NDC is established from. I don't want to get too technical with all this stuff. It's quite a lot. But I think it is feasible, and it also is really, really important because climate change is a topic which, would get into the conversation when we speak about energy. We see heat waves happening around the world, and the reason why this is happening is because of the carbon dioxide which is being emitted into the atmosphere, the greenhouse gases, right? So transitioning, which is a keyword, transitioning or decarbonizing the economy, as it would say in the technical language, is really, really important. And I think it is feasible.
All right. Tell me, so it is encouraged. So it's encouraging individuals over there who probably have been having the idea, hey, I want to use solar.
Yeah.
It is encouraged.
Yes.
And in terms of making that transition, what are some of the benefits that could derive out of this?
Right, definitely. So the benefits for you personally is that it decreases your expenses when it comes to electricity.
Some folks would say it pays itself.
Yes.
After a while.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And most importantly is that you are helping the environment, because we want to live in a clean environment, in a safe environment. Looking at statistics from different UN agencies, you would see that air pollution is one of the leading causes of death around the world, because the air quality is very bad, really, really bad. It affects people, it affects the whole planet. So if we can reduce on this and have a better air quality, I think it's definitely important for us. I mean, I know that as a people, we are very much a consumer society. Like, we buy, and think about our, what's what I'm looking for? We think about our benefits, how efficient it is for us, but rather not about the environment. So the environment is really important when you think about it, because of climate change, you see a lot of things happening. The coral reefs are dying, they are bleaching. We see animals and plants are dying, they are going extinct. We see people are dying as well. The health of the people are being the cause of death. So we see so many things being impacted by this. So this is really a push for us to become a better society, to live in a better society that is livable, not where we are suffocating from what we produce, for lack of a better word.
And you know, in Grenada, being in the condition that we live in Grenada, we could say we're in perfect condition. The conditions out there is perfect, especially for solar panels.
Definitely.
You understand? I mean, going green is something I see that could work in a Grenadian environment.
It certainly can, because remember, as you say, our seasons, rain and dry. And even in the rainy, we have a lot of sun.
So true.
So there's a lot of sunlight that we can harness for this. Of course, it takes more education and changing the mindset of individuals, as Raheem mentioned. Sometimes because it's not directly related to you, you don't see the impact. But it's changing the mindset over time. And of course, it is about people realizing that we shouldn't just be looking at our time right now. We have to look at the generations to come, our children, grandchildren, and the future to come. So it requires education, and if you look at what has been done, even within the Grenadian context, within, let's say, even the last 5 years, you see that there's a shift in terms of the knowledge out there, and in terms of people being more aware of what climate change is about, what the damage that we're doing with our behavior, and the ways that we can make, as I say, little changes, but ultimately it adds up to the whole, and in time there is going to be a significant shift. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we do not use fossil fuels.
I understand,
yes, but there is going to be a greater...
The minimal use of it will certainly come around sometime.
Yes, it will make a huge impact.
All right.
Yes.
Now tell me, in a Grenadian economy, what has the feedback has been for the PURC in terms of folks coming to you and talk to you about wanting to go green in particular? Has that conversation, will we all having that conversation on a regular basis with folks within the Grenadian community?
Yes, we've had, especially lately, we've had, and especially as we're doing a lot of outreach, we've had people realizing that, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission actually exists, and we exist, and part of our mandate, as I said, is about renewable energy and promoting the use of renewable energy. So we've had quite a bit of people out there calling in to find out what is it that they require, especially, as I said, if you're going to invest in a system, you want to make sure that you get the right information, because ultimately you don't want to go and invest and then you're told, oh, you've bought the wrong system, wrong batteries, wrong
battery, you have the wrong inverter, you have I kind of know stuff.
Yes, and to ensure that your installer knows what he's doing. So we have been having these conversations, and we, as I said, the more that we do outreach, we trust that these conversations will become greater. The PURC is here. We're here to answer these questions. We have capable engineers on board, because ultimately, as I said, we want to make sure that your investment pays off for you and for Grenada in the long run.
All right. In particular, we speak about customers. I just read the customers, and it kind of leading to my next question. Customers always complain. There's always going to be the issue of someone complaining. And, Grenlec did this, or Grenlec did this, or, whoever institution that you soon will be representing. How does the process work? Tell me about the process or the procedures in terms of, complaints to the commission.
Okay. As a customer, again, it's only Grenlec. So if you have a complaint against Grenlec and you've gone through all the layers, and I'm repeating that, you must go through all the layers.
So you must go to Grenlec first.
Yes. You go to Grenlec.
Whatever information they require from you, and then you deal with that.
Yes. You go through the customer service, whatever it is that is required, as you said. You go through, and if you are not pleased with the result of the complaint, the situation, that is where you come to the PURC.
Okay.
So, GT, you went to Grenlec and you think, all right,
my refrigerator got damaged from a forward search that I assumed from Grenlec. Okay. I have spoken to Grenlec. They said, well, they don't think that's caused it.
And that, of course, Grenlec promotes that you put on search protectors, protecting
maybe
equipment.
I did have all of that.
If it is that Grenlec had an issue with the power supply that has nothing to do with kite bus, some man pull along a line, these things, because they have no control.
Nothing of a natural disaster occurred.
They have no control over that. But if it is something in their control, then they will entertain a conversation about replacement of whatever it is. But outside of that, if they have no control, then they will tell you, okay. But if you came to us because you thought that probably your rates are exceptionally high, your bill is really, really high, and you believe that something is not right, and you go through them and you're still not pleased with why your bill is so high, because you have basic equipment in your house, and so you come to the PURC, and we will have you fill a form, because we need to get all the information on the issue, and we need to get your information. I had a customer recently who didn't wish to give his information, because he said, all your people out there know, and all you take information, all you doing all kind of thing with it. But if you really want your complaint to be resolved, we have to be serious. You have to be willing to give that information, and to give as much information on the complaint. And again, always take note. Sometimes we live in an informal society where we call in into a particular entity, doesn't matter, and we have a complaint, and we don't bother to take names.
So true.
But it is crucial, and I'm just saying it in general, especially when you have an issue. Take a name with the person.
Good morning, who am I speaking to?
Thank you. So that you could note that name, so that when we're making a request to Grenlec, we can say, well, GT spoke with Miss Andrew at Grenlec, and she said so and so, because it does give more credence to your complaint. And of course, you must sign the form. You must, because again, we cannot legally request information from Grenlec without you having to sign your form.
Okay.
So you sign the form, and we make a request to Grenlec. They provide the information. If the information that comes back to us and our investigation reveals that, Grenlec, there was no reason, it's your bill is not exorbitant, it is within reason, it's within, then we would tell you, okay, this is the result of the investigation. You do have the option, though, that if at that level you're still not not pleased with the result, you can make a claim against the commission, and so that's the last level.
The last resort that you go for.
And once the commission makes that determinant, then it's final, whether you agree with or not. But at least it gives you another layer and another opportunity to have your issue resolved.
I'm happy that you said that, because most time, listening to when you said complaints, I thought it was a basic complaints in terms of, hey, I had a poor surge and my equipment, but you could also come to the after complaining with Grenlec, my bill is extravagant, and I maybe only have one refrigerator in my house, so why am I paying $500? You could also have that after speaking to Grenlec, maybe you went through a process with them also, in coming and checking your home, whatever, making sure for your high usage, whatever, and maybe for some reason you will bill high for whatever reason, and Grenlec doesn't agree, then he could also come to you for that.
Yes.
I'm interested to know, because folks may not have thought they have those resources available to them.
Yes, and again, as I said, you must go through the layers. We are here especially to hear what are your issues, and to see how we can resolve them, especially if you have not had that final from Grenlec that suits you, that is acceptable to you. We are here to request from Grenlec, and ultimately, as I said, you may not be pleased with the final outcome, or you may be pleased if we are able to get an agreement that is acceptable to you. But our job ultimately is to investigate your claim, take all the sides, and make that determination as to whether or not you actually...
hopefully we get a solution from that.
Yes.
Solution. I want to thank you both for being here this morning. Any closing comments before we take a wrap this morning?
Yes, definitely. So I want to encourage our Grenadian population out there to visit our website at www.purc.gd. On our website, you would find information about our cell generator program. You will find the application forms for interconnection and non-connection, so off-grid, on-grid. Also, there is a contact section which you can contact us. If you have any queries or complaints, you can contact us there, or you can send us an email at office@purc.gd, or you can call us at our office at 437-1602.
All right. Allisia, anything in final closing?
Well, I just want to remind the public that the PURC is here for you. We are here to hear your complaints that you may have against Grenlec. We're here to offer you any advice if you are going to get into renewable energy, basically solar, and not just to offer advice if you're here, but know that once you're thinking about solar, come to the PURC, or as Raheem said, call us, and we are able to provide you with information that is required. We trust that as we go forward, with education, that the mindset of people will change, and we're able to get a greater penetration of renewable energy, people using more solar and other forms of energy as we develop as a country. So again, you can call the office on 437-1602. I also wish to add that coming up again soon, there will be discussions on the interim tariff to educate the public on how it is calculated, why it is calculated, and we're also going to be having consultations with installers and suppliers of renewable energy equipment and appliances, so that at the end of the day, they would give feedback on our process, and we're able to better provide a service to the required stakeholders.
All right.
Yes.
I want to thank you for both once again. Very fruitful information, and I sure listeners and viewers who are probably having those considerations are a little bit more educated on it now. And a program like this is definitely important in terms of understanding the process.
Yes.
And so we have, even though we have not gone too in depth in it, but even what we have touched, certainly it was a lot that we have said this morning. Thanks once again for being part of the Morning Buzz, and hope to see you folks once again. Maybe we need more programs like this happening so that we can educate the public. Thanks once again. Have a good one. Hey, listeners and viewers, have yourself a great day. That's where we come to the end of the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio and GBN TV.